Hello everyone, how are we all doing? I want to talk about Mo Salah. I want to talk about another Liverpool win last night against Leicester City where Mo Salah scores again. And again, the questions are raised. The questions were posed to him in the post-match interview, wasn't they? Are you staying? Is there any update on the contract? Is there any update? Are you going to stay? Are you going to leave? In another week's time, as soon as we hit January, Salah can talk to foreign teams from other leagues, about leaving. Now, I think that rule's a little bit stupid because, let's be honest, those conversations are happening between agents long before he's, able to. So I'm sure if Salah is planning to leave Liverpool at the end of the season, he already knows where that's likely to go to. However, I don't think that's the case. I firmly believe that Mo Salah believes that Liverpool is the place that he should be. I firmly believe that Salah thinks he has, and I agree with him, and I think most people do, I think Salah thinks he has at least another 2 to 3 years performing at the very highest level. This guy is 33 soon, he's 33 next year, but he's showing no signs of slowing down. He's currently on track to outperform that incredible first season that he had at Liverpool where he broke all records, and he's on course to do that again 8 years later. The guy is just an unbelievable example of how to look after yourself, how to condition yourself. I need to take some lessons myself, but the guy's just incredible and such a talented, humble individual. And I think he's a player that Liverpool have to move mountains to keep. Obviously, there's the other situation, the Trent Alexander-Arnold, the Virgil van Dijk situations, and I will come on to those. I'm going to be doing videos on those too. But I think with Mo Salah, it's very different. I think if you can keep a Van Dijk, you've got to keep him. If you can keep a Trent Alexander-Arnold, you've got to keep him. But I think Mo Salah, you can't afford to lose him. I think of the three, personally, if I had to lose, or if I could only keep one, Salah would be the one that I would keep. And the reason I say that is because Salah is performing at the... If you look at all the players in the Premier League right now, okay, Salah has 16 goals, he's the top scorer, and 11 assists. He's the top of the assist chart as well. The next closest to him in terms of goals and assists in the Premier League is Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer has 18. So, and then beyond that, I think it's Saka. So what we're talking about here is if Salah was to leave, even if next season at this stage of the season he's only half as good. Let's say he has a big fall off, right? Let's say he has a big fall off and he's only half as good next year. He'll still be doing 13, 14 goals and assists. So that would put him, right now, in and amongst the Sakas, the Cole Palmers, the Isaks, the players that we all look at and say, fantastic player. And you'd be right. Cole Palmer's great. Saka's great. And I think if you were a Liverpool, if money was no object, and Salah was leaving, we need to replace him with a younger player, Saka and Palmer are probably the two that you would look at and say, they're the ones we'd go for. But both of those are producing nowhere near the level of Salah. Nowhere near. And, maybe in time they will. Maybe in time they'll kick on and they'll obviously they'll be better than they are. I'm sure they will. They're both top professionals, both young players, and still got lots more developing to do. But they aren't at the level that Salah is, and he's a difference maker. He's a difference maker in so many games for Liverpool. He's the reason why, for me, we are top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. If you look at games where Salah has scored or created the opening goal, or scored or created the winning goal, the decisive goal, he's responsible for about 80% of Liverpool's wins. It's something silly like that. He is so important and so vital to everything that Liverpool have done under Jurgen Klopp, everything that we've done under Slot, and everything that we'll continue to do under Slot. So I just think we can't afford to let him go. And there's talks about him commanding a 3-year contract. That's what him and his agent Rami Abbas, that's what they are. They're demanding from Liverpool. And naturally in any negotiation, I'm sure I've worked in sales, I'm sure you've worked in the sales environment, any negotiation, you have to be willing to walk away. So that's the card that Salah is playing, isn't it? The card that Salah has been playing all season long. He said it after the Man United game where he had a great sort of performance. We won 3-0 at Old Trafford. He said, this is my last game at Old Trafford. And I'm just enjoying the season. And he's had that mantra all season long, hasn't he? This is my last season. This is my last season. And he's got to say that because it's going to get the fans, on the back of the club. I mean, look, the fans have produced a big banner in the Kop that sits there saying, give Mo his dough. He deserves it. And he does. He absolutely does. The guy has earned it. And from the club's point of view, I can get, and I listened to Jamie Carragher talk about this effectively the other day, where he said, you can't just give Salah what he wants because he's a 350 grand a week player now, and he is. He's performing at a level you would say he's a Ballon d'Or contender. But is he going to be that next year? Probably. Is he going to be that in 2 years? Maybe. Is he going to be that in 3 years? Can Liverpool afford to be paying a 36-year-old the highest wages in the Premier League, or amongst the highest wages? And I understand that argument. I really do. Because if Liverpool are about to go into the market and find, we're going to have to at some point, go and find a Mo Salah replacement. And that might be a Cole Palmer, it might be a Saka. Maybe not. I doubt it. I don't think Chelsea or Arsenal will be willing to let those go. But when we do go into the market to find a Mo Salah replacement, whomever that may be, if you're that player's agent, you'd be saying, well, hang on a minute. Mo Salah, 36, he's on the decline. He's going down. I mean, it won't be that, I'm hoping, at that point, but he's on the decline. He's going slightly downhill. My player's worth at least as much as Salah. At least that much. You have to give him as much as that in wages. You've got to. And it does create an interesting problem for Liverpool, doesn't it? The hierarchy at Liverpool. We've always been a club that's been, wages-wise at least, relatively sustainable. We've never paid the highest wages in the league. So, and I don't think Salah's asking for that, really. I don't think he's asking for give me number one in the league, even though he could. He's just asking for a 3-year contract and make me a top earner or the top earner at the club. And again, if you're a Van Dijk, you're a Trent, you're watching those negotiations closely, aren't you? You're watching those negotiations very, very closely because what Salah commands, if Salah gets it, Van Dijk will command. What Van Dijk commands and gets, Trent will want more than that as well. Or at least as much. And you have to say that it was probably a mistake from the club as letting it get to this point. I do have to say that I do have a lot of sympathy for the club in terms of I'm not sure what more they could have done. Salah's obviously said that he's not had a contract put to him. You'd have to be sceptical whether or not that's true because negotiations are happening all the time. Rami Abbas, I think, has confirmed, his agent, that there have been talks with the club. And in those talks, I'm sure Liverpool have put their stance forward. Liverpool have said, look, this is what we would love to offer. And, this is what we've got for you. The fact that there's not been an agreement doesn't necessarily mean there hasn't been an offer. And I'm sure that's probably the case with Van Dijk and with Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. However, if those players want to wait, which I think is fair as well, I think if those players hear, let's say 12 months ago, they hear, obviously, Jurgen Klopp's leaving, right? All three players will have looked at that and gone, okay, we need to just see what's going to happen here. How is the club going to react? Is the club going to behave like a club of that size should? In terms of, right, we need to go out and get a top manager. We need to go out and find, rebuild a new squad. But also, is that manager going to want me as part of it? Is he going to want a different type of team, a new image? Maybe he doesn't want to play with inverted fullbacks. Maybe he doesn't want to play with, centre halves that can play out from the back. I'm not sure why any manager in any style of play wouldn't want Van Dijk, Trent or Salah, by the way, but you never know. Sometimes chemistry, they don't get on. Sometimes they just don't gel, don't quite fit into the system. We've seen that happen with other managers. So there was every chance, from a selfish point of view, if you're Mo Salah, you look at it and go, I'd love to stay at Liverpool. I love the club. My family is settled here. I'm building a legacy here. I'm happy here. But maybe the manager comes in and throws a spanner in the works. So it's safer to wait. So I understand. I understand that they wanted to wait, to see how it goes, to see what Slot is like with them when he comes in. The fact that it's gone so well, I think has made, and I expect this will bear fruit. I think this is what will come to pass. I think Van Dijk and Salah will sign. We will get those deals done. I certainly hope so. And I do think that Trent will probably leave. He's the one making the most noise, isn't he? But just, I think coming back to Salah, I worry that the longer this drags on, this whole saga of the three players out of contract, I just worry that it disrupts the season. I worry that it causes, it might not cause tension, but if Salah doesn't put a performance in, okay, which is looking less likely with every passing game. Every game he's just been absolutely on it. But if he does have a game where he's not quite at the races, or he misses some chances, or he's kind of anonymous, floating in and out of the game, it'll only take one or two of those if he's not signed a contract and he's a few months away from being a free agent, and you will see the press turn. The Twitter trolls and all those other people will jump on it and say, his head's gone. He's already in Paris, or he's already in maybe Barcelona, or he's already in Saudi thinking of the dough. You never know with these things, and I can already see it going that way with Trent. I don't think it will with Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk's been pretty respectful throughout and has basically said that he wants to stay. Of the three, isn't he? Van Dijk's basically said, I'd like to stay. I love the club, love the fans. They love me. We'll see what happens. Nothing to report, but we'll see what happens. Salah has been a little bit more provocative and said, I love the club. The club loves me. I love the fans. Fans love me. But it's my last season. Which is just teasing the club, isn't it? It's just saying to them, listen, I'll go. I will walk. If you don't treat me with the respect that I feel I deserve, then I'll go. And something tells me that's a bluff. I do think it's a bluff. If I think Salah has to behave like that to get the very best deal, and this is probably his last big deal in football, isn't it? This is probably his last big contract, because if he does get a 3-year contract, if he gets his way, then Liverpool will probably say to him at 36, we'll give you another maybe 1 year or 2 years, but it's not going to be on £250,000, £300,000 a week, is it? And I suspect what we'll get to with Mo Salah is we will get a compromise between the club and the player that incentivises Salah to keep performing at the levels that he has been. And if he does, he'll get the money, he'll get the rewards. So it'll be less of a guaranteed basic and far more performance-based. I think that's where we'll get to. I think the club will say, okay, listen, if you think you can deliver X, Y, and Z, then we'll give you a contract that is reflective of your status as one of the best players at the club, in the club's history, in the Premier League's history. but you will have to reach X number of appearances, maybe X number of goals, maybe it'll be team based as well, and if the team wins a trophy, you'll get a bigger performance bonus. You never know, but I just think there's definitely a compromise to be reached there. I think for Salah, it's just about him, how much can he squeeze the club. I do think that's what it is, and I don't blame him for that, by the way. The club are trying to get their best deal, aren't they? And Salah's trying to get his best deal. Salah and his agent will have to say that they are prepared to walk away. Personally, I don't believe they are. I think, come what may, Salah will sign whatever contract is on the table at the end of the season. He will stay. Salah, I firmly believe, will be a Liverpool player next season, and I think he wants to be a Liverpool player, and I don't think he sees a future away from Liverpool. I think he knows this is the best league in the world. The Premier League is the best league in the world. I don't think he believes there is a better club for him than Liverpool. Where would he go, realistically, where he's going to be competing for the Champions League and the league title every year? Maybe Real Madrid he could. Yeah, that's fine. But Real Madrid are not that club. They don't sign the best in the world, let's be honest. They sign the Vinicius Juniors, the Rodrigos, the Mbappes, you know. They're not after a player who's in his 30s and, you know, approaching the end of his career. They would have had Salah 5-6 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I think, but not now. Barcelona might be tempted, but I think they're skint, to be honest. I don't actually see Barcelona competing. Maybe La Liga they might do, but I don't think they're gonna compete in the Champions League personally. Italy, I don't think he fancies Inter. I don't think he fancies Bayern. PSG, I mean, League earns a bit of a walk, isn't it? A bit of a stroll for Paris Saint-Germain. So I don't think he would see that as a real victory, you know, going to Ligue 1 and winning a trophy with PSG. So that only leaves the Saudi League, really, and that's what everyone's been talking about, isn't it? Is he going to go to the Saudi League? And I just can't see it. I don't think he sees himself at that retirement age where I'm just going to go and kick my feet up and earn loads of money. I don't think that interests him. The guy has got more money than he can spend in 20 lifetimes. He wants a legacy. He wants to be number one in Premier League in terms of goals and assists, and he's not far away. He really isn't. I think if Liverpool signs Salah for 3 or 4 years and he keeps up this level, he can certainly reach... He might struggle to reach Shearer, but he might get towards, you know, Wayne Rooney, top 2, top 3, definitely. He's already there's already conversations about is he better than Henry? You know, wherever you stand on that argument, he's in the conversation. You might say Henry's definitely the best player in Premier League history, and to be honest, I wouldn't disagree with you. I loved Henry. I thought he was tremendous, but I don't think you can say that Salah's absolutely not even in the debate. It's not Henry, Salah. You know, there's certainly a competition there because he's producing at a level over a long period of time as well. Over 8 years now, he has produced insane consistency. He's won everything there is to win. He'll probably win more this season. And he joined a team as well. You know, Henry joined a much better Arsenal team than Salah joined a Liverpool team, let's be clear. And Salah has carried this Liverpool team at times. There's been times where he's just dragged us over the line to 4th place. That wasn't the case with Henry at Arsenal. He was competing and dragging that Arsenal team to titles and Champions League finals. So it is slightly different context. We'll get into that. That's a whole different thing. But I think, yeah, Mo Salah, he will stay. I am almost certain of it. It probably was a mistake for the club to let it get to this point, but it is what it is. I guess. What do you think is the most important? I'm really interested to know from a football fan community, whether you're a Liverpool fan, maybe you're just a general football fan. What do you think? Do you think Salah stays, for one? Do you think Liverpool need to just give him what he wants? Does he deserve to be the best paid player in the world? He's certainly performing at that level. Few would argue that he couldn't, he could win the Ballon d'Or next season. So should he be able to command that? Do you think he deserves a 3-year contract? Does he deserve a 4-year contract? And what's the compromise for the club? Is it a 2-year with maybe an extension possible if you hit X, Y, and Z? There's so many things to think about, and there's so many different sort of variables and how it can go, but it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out and how it affects, by the way, that's another question, how it affects this Liverpool team in the title running. Is it going to be a distraction? Is it going to be a distraction as Liverpool go into that final straight? Because that's where the nitty-gritty is, isn't it? That's where teams just, can they keep their focus? Can they keep their head? Are the players around them going to look and say, you're not here next season. Are you in this with us? Are you truly in this with us, or are you already thinking about jumping ship? Are you already thinking about your house in Saudi, your house in Madrid if you're Trent or whatever? It's going to be really interesting, and it's definitely going to be one to watch as the season goes. And I just worry the longer that it drags on, the more of a negative impact it's likely to have. It's certainly not going to have a positive impact. At least I can't see it having a positive impact at all. So, but let me know. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like this stuff, give us a follow, give us a like. I'll see you on the next one.